So you've been born into the world. Good news, you're the protagonist. Bad news, pretty much everything else. Your name is Monkey D. Luffy. The monkey is a warning. The D is a mystery that you'll carry like a hereditary disease. And before you can even form a complete sentence, you get a grand idea. You're going to be the Pirate King. You declare it to the world with a grin. It sounds like a dream. In reality, it's an unbreakable oral contract with the universe. The advertised benefit is ultimate freedom, and the fine print is a lifetime subscription to suffering, paid in advance, non-negotiable. To be taken seriously, you stab yourself under the eye to prove the point, and somehow it works. The scar stays, the logic, questionable, the signature, accept it. Welcome to the job. Let's go over the terms of your employment. So first on the docket, company property. That's your body, by the way. It's not really yours anymore. You start by eating a funny-looking fruit you mistake for dessert because you're a child with an impulse control of a starving animal. Immediate side effect, your body's structural integrity is permanently replaced with rubber. Sounds good? The fine print on this upgrade says otherwise. You can never swim again. In other words, you've given yourself a permanent water allergy in a career that's 90% ocean. And no, there's no appeal process. From here, your only method of advancement is systematic self-destruction. You call them gears. To get faster, you invent gear second. You use your rubber veins as biological pistons, pumping blood at a rate that literally burns through your life force. The steam coming off your skin, that's your lifespan evaporating. And your cooldown timer is starting to blink. To get stronger, you master a gear third. You bite your own thumb and inflate your bones like a party balloon. Big enough to level a building, but you pay the penalty as your body shrinks and your joints scream. Then comes gear fourth. Now you bite your own muscle tissue, pumping it full of air until your body becomes a compressed, spring-loaded prison. It grants immense power for a few minutes, then you turn into a shriveled, defenseless husk, completely immobile for several more while your hockey meter flatlines. And that's just what you do to yourself. The world will use your body as a public punching bag, impaled, poisoned, dehydrated, flash-frozen, electrocuted, and audited by gravity at every opportunity. You'll even face a creature that clubs you so hard you actually die. Temporarily, of course. Death isn't grounds to avoid the contract. The culmination of all this abuse, your so-called peak form, isn't even you. Turns out the fruit carried a will. A mythical god awakens, lends you its rhythm, and turns you into a living Looney Tunes character. Your heart beats to the drums of liberation while your body is torn apart and reshaped like clay, physics taking suggestions. You achieve ultimate power by becoming a passenger in your own skin. Joy steering, you hanging on. Now, Clause B of your contract, human resources. You're required to assemble a team to hit your career goals. Your nakama, your friends, your crew. More accurately, a collection of deeply damaged individuals whose lifelong nightmares become your responsibility, payroll, and therapy budget. Take your first mate, the swordsman. The case study begins right after you defeat a warlord by shoving an island's worth of stolen shadows into your own body. That's just the opening act. Your reward? Another warlord shows up to handle cleanup. He offers to spare your unconscious body by transferring every ounce of your accumulated pain and fatigue to someone else. Your swordsman takes the deal, no witnesses, no speech, silently enduring agony that should have killed him, when they find him standing in a crater of his own blood. His report is, nothing happened. Loyalty, logged and paid in red. Your dream keeps breathing because your crew bleeds in silence. You, of course, were asleep for the entire incident. Then there's your archaeologist, hunted since childhood after a government-sanctioned genocide convinced her existence is a curse. She begs you to abandon her death, to save her. You declare war on the entire world. Not metaphorically. You order the world government's flag burned and march on their island of absolute justice, challenging the planet's central power. Her whisper becomes a scream. I want to live. And overnight, your fun pirate adventure becomes geopolitical. Her life is now your problem, forever. And the job requirements only get worse. Consider your sniper, a man whose entire personality rests on a bedrock of crippling insecurities. When your first ship, his most precious possession, is dying, you have to make the hard call. The shipwright gives the verdict, the hull can't be saved. His grief hardens into rage, and he challenges you to a duel on the dock. As captain, you're forced to publicly, brutally beat down your weakest, most sensitive friend, leaving him broken in an alleyway while you hold a funeral for the ship. You walk away, still captain. He walks away alone. This is what your contract defines as effective leadership. Then there's your cook, whose abusive past catches up on him. He's blackmailed, forced to renounce his dream, and beats you senseless just to make you leave. Orders stamped with a family crest and a threat. Your only strategy? Sit in the rain, starving, absorbing every blow without fighting back. Because you made a promise. The promise that you'd rather starve to death than eat a single meal he didn't cook. You carved that vow into your ribs and wait. This becomes the pattern. Your primary role as captain is to serve as the emotional and literal punching bag for your crew's unresolved trauma. You're the shock absorber that keeps the ship moving. Let's discuss the primary cause of all your suffering. Your decision-making, or rather, your complete lack of it. There's a tax for being the simple-minded in a complicated world. The contract calls it the stupidity tax. You pay it often, and in full. Take your first major takedown in the Grand Line. You pick a fight with a warlord made of sand. Plan A, punch him. It fails. He impales you with a golden hook and leaves you to die in the desert. Plan B, find him and punch him again, but angrier. He drains the moisture from your body until your skin cracks and leaves you for dead a second time. Your strategy is to fail upward until your opponent runs out of ways to kill you. Then finally, change the rules and live. It's only by miracle and stubbornness that you survive. Then the single most expensive bill arrives at Sabati Archipelago. You're warned. Touch a world noble and you'll be annihilated. One shoots your fishman friend. You cross the room and punch this god so hard it breaks the color palette. Bubbles pop. The room goes silent. The most satisfying punch of your life. The tax? An admiral made of light surgically dismantles your crew. And a warlord scatters them to the far corners of the world with a single gesture. With one punch, you turn a rising force into a global missing persons case. You're left completely, utterly alone, and this tax is paid not just with your life, but with the life of others. You sprint headfirst into the biggest war of the century to save your brother. Yeah, you have one. A child running through a battlefield of legends, borrowing courage you haven't earned. And for a moment it works. Your brother's free. But impulsiveness is a family trait. He takes an admiral's bait, and to shield your exhausted body, catches a fist of magma clean through his chest. He dies in your arms, thanking you for loving him. You didn't save him. You secured a front row seat to his execution, a tragedy your presence helped guarantee. Your simple heart is the most expensive thing you own. So your body is a disposable asset on a countdown timer. Your crew is a collection of scars you've sworn to protect. Your decisions bring ruin. That covers the operational hazards. That's the paperwork. The bruises are just the stamps. What's left is the final, philosophical punchline of your existence. The ledger that never balances. Your dream, the reason you endure, is to become the Pirate King, the freest person on the sea. The universe's grand joke? You'll never be free. Call it the freedom tax. To be free is to have no master, but you're bound to every promise you've made. That straw hat isn't a treasure. It's a leash, held by the ghost of a man you swore to surpass. Every kingdom you save, every friend you make, forges another unbreakable link to the chain. You don't choose your destination. You're obligated to sail toward the next person you promised to help. The anchor's chain grows longer, the ship heavier, and you keep going. Your dream is to be free, to control your own path, but you can't navigate. You can't read a map. You can't cook a meal to survive. You can't even enter the water your ship sails on without drowning. You're completely dependent on the very crew whose trauma you carry. You're their captain and their perpetual child. If they vanish, you stall, starve, and sink. And the cruelest joke? You'd think this is your dream, your adventure, your will. It's not. It feels like authorship. It's choreography written before you. That rubber body, the fruit was never gum-gum. It hit a myth with a will of its own, waiting centuries for someone like you to awaken it. The drumbeat you call freedom is a hand-me-down metronome. The initial D isn't a choice. It's a brand, marking you an enemy of the world's rulers from birth. You're not forging a new destiny. You're finishing an 800-year-old story. Not a pioneer, an echo. Pirate King no longer sounds like a crown. It sounds like a cage. The freest man on the sea wears the most shackles. That's the final term of your contract. No benefits, no escape clause. Congratulations, Monkey D. Luffy. You're hired. Made it this far without getting cuffed by a sea stone? Hit like and subscribe before the Marines update my bounty again. Who should we dive into next? Zoro, Nami, or do an Admiral speedrun? Drop your pick in the comments.